Political consultants laundering cash. It's May 10th, 2024, and these are your headlines. Say it ain't so. Two former consultants to Democrat Representative Henry Cuellar have agreed to plead guilty to assisting the lawmaker in laundering hundreds of thousands of dollars from a Mexican bank. That's like millions of pesos. Colin Strother, the South Texas Democrats' former campaign manager, and Florencio Rendon struck separate deals with the U.S. Department of Justice in March where they agreed to cooperate with the investigation. That's not good news for Cuellar. The first of the two to come clean was Strother, who signed his agreement on March 6th. 9 days later, Rendon entered into his deal with federal prosecutors. In Rendon's agreement, the operation's origins are said to have begun in 2015, when Rendon met with Banco Azteca executives at Cuellar's behest to discuss supposed regulatory issues facing the bank. After the meetings, Rendon allegedly signed a contract paying him upwards of $15,000 a month to provide consulting for an unnamed U.S.-based media and television company connected to the Mexican bank. Strother's deal details that Cuellar then allegedly commissioned Rendon to meet Strother, where Rendon offered Strother $11,000 a month to participate in a clandestine project that Strother eventually determined to be, quote, a sham. Rendon's agreement notes that he kept $4,000 for his consulting firm, while he expected Strother to keep $1,000 for himself and forward the remaining $10,000 to Imelda Cuellar's company. Imelda Cuellar is Henry Cuellar's wife. In total, Rendon paid Strother $261,000 from March of 2016 to June of 2019. Over $236,000 of that was then allegedly funneled to Cuellar's wife. Prosecutors believe the transactions were part of an effort by Cuellar to hide the money from required U.S. financial disclosures. This, of course, comes after the DOJ announced last week it has indicted Cuellar on corruption and money laundering charges for over $600,000 in bribes. A U.S. district court is allowing a Texas case that accuses the federal government of censoring conservative media companies to move forward. Attorney General Ken Paxton first filed the case alongside the Daily Wire, the Federalist, and the New Civil Liberties Alliance back in December in reaction to fallout from the administration's Global Engagement Center. According to the lawsuit, the Global Engagement Center was only authorized to target foreign misinformation, but actually actively worked to censor, deplatform, and demonetize domestic media companies like the Daily Wire and the Federalist. Judge Jeremy Kernodle of the U.S. District Court in Eastern Texas wrote in his 36-page order on Tuesday that plaintiffs had thus far sufficiently argued they had standing to challenge the Department of State, sort of the first hurdle here. Kernodle specifically noted plaintiffs allege the GEC conspired with social media companies in 2019 to push the censorship technology Disinfo Cloud, which included input from media rating companies like the Global Disinformation Index and NewsGuard. Both GDI and NewsGuard, frequently used by advertisers to gauge ad placements, have been exposed in studies by the Media Research Center for disproportionately targeting conservatives. Imagine that, censorship against conservatives. A 2023 study, for example, showed that NewsGuard gave left-leaning outlets an average rating of 91 out of 100, while right-leaning outlets had an average rating of just 65. House Bill 20, which prohibits social media platforms from censoring based on users' viewpoints, is currently blocked as the U.S. Supreme Court reviews the accompanying case.
Is it possible to morph from a hero into a villain? I'm Valerie Munoz. Join me as I introduce you to the most powerful lobbying group in Texas, one that started as a savior, but has become the very thing they were created to destroy. Listen now to Season 7 of Exposed, The Beast of Austin, available wherever you get podcasts.
Just months after Katy Independent School District trustees adopted a pro-parent gender policy, well, the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights is coming after them. They've opened up an investigation. In August of last year, Katy ISD trustees adopted a policy that allows parents full authority over their child's health and well-being, separating locker rooms and restrooms by biological sex and ensuring pronouns are used based on the child's biological sex. Sounds like common sense, right? The policy also says that faculty and staff are prohibited from teaching or providing instructional materials on gender ideology in classrooms. Of course, while the board members were discussing the item back in August, many sexual preference and gender ideology activists showed up to condemn the board for even considering the policy, calling the board members bigoted and hateful. But despite the insults, the board approved the policy 4-3. Well, that takes us to this week. The Biden administration, the DOE, officially opened an investigation to determine if the policy discriminates against gender-confused students. The president of the Katy ISD Board of Trustees, Victor Perez, told Texas Scorecard that the enactment of the pro-parent policy has gone smoothly, the district has implemented it professionally, and they are committing to cooperating with any requests the DOE has. For more of today's stories, go to texasscorecard.com.